Shalom, Yasharala. It's your brother Yahakarab coming at you with another one. Before I start, let me start off by saying, Call Layim La Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakwadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and to the rest of the brethren on down that's teaching and preaching the truth of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Shalom, Bayatha Dawada, and to the Akim and Akwathium that's out there repenting and returning back to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah. Shalom to you, Mashpaka. Shalom. I just want to bring out a few precepts, proclaim this truth of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah. Then I'm going to play this little video and through the Spirit bring out some more scriptures and end it off. But without any further ado, let's get right into it. Because you know me, I'll start running my mouth. So let's get straight into it. First one we go open up with, because the topic of this one is, I'll see what I'm going to title it later, but the topic is going to be based in the surrounding a lost heritage. Why are you calling yourself all these things that you're not? But let's get into them. First one we going to open up with, just to break the ice, Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28. And we're going to go, we ain't going to read the blessings, we're going to go to us being hard-headed first. That led to you being in the land of your captivity and being called all by these proverbs and bywords. But first, let's get into this. We'll start at 15. You already know it, but in case y'all don't, here it is. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Now, what is one of the curses that what this is about? Let's go straight to it. Let's go straight to it. We gonna get into it. We ain't gonna pussyfoot around. Let's get straight into it. Deuteronomy 28 and 37. Matter of fact, I'll start at 36. Deuteronomy 28 and 36, but 37 is the point. And the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there shalt thou serve other gods. They ain't no gods, they idols, wood and stone. Deuteronomy 28 and 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord Yahweh shall lead thee. Now let's go into these words. Let's look at this proverb. Let's go into this proverb. Mashal, the Hebrew word, mashal. It says proverb, parable, proverb, proverbial saying, aphorism. I ain't got to read no more, but let's go into that. Let's go into that aphorism.
Aphorism.
What does it say? A pithy observation that contain a general truth, such as, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it's just saying a saying. It says a saying, maxim, Precept, let me go into this one. Exome.
Axiom.
Axiom. But it's just going into what? A saying. A short, pithy expression that generally contains advice or wisdom. That ain't what we looking for. This is what we looking for right here. This motto. And what does this motto mean? A short sentence or phrase chosen, encapsulating the beliefs or idea guiding an individual, family, or institution. So let's go back, because that ain't the one we looking for. Let's go back. It's just a saying. Now let's go into that byword. You being called a byword. Let's go into that. The Hebrew word is shanayana. A sharp word, meaning something that cuts you, that'll make you squinch at. Sharp word, sharp cutting word, taunt, a gib. What is it for the Hebrew word shanayana? Something pointed, i.e. a gib. Byword, taunt. But let's go into that gib so you'll know these words that you run around calling yourself, that these heathens made up for you. Let's find out what it is. Let's find out. Gib.
Jibe.
Gibe.
Jibe.
Well, whatever, jibe. Look like gib, but it's with an E, so gibe. And what it says, an insulting or mocking remark, a taunt. So you being called black, you being called colored, you being called Negro, you being called African American, ain't none of that shit got nothing to do with your no nationality, your ethnicity. None of it. It's an insult. Period. That's all it is. So let's go back to the scripts. Let's read that again. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations where Yahweh shall lead thee. Then I'm going to play this video, and then we're going to bring some more scriptures out. And you'll see that they are clearly insults. Bear with me.
Look at my African-American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? So we have an African-American guy at one of the rallies a month ago.
The black church, the black businesses.
Black. African-American. You know, people of colors.
Your role reserved for colored people.
Since we've been here in America, we've had all these different names for ourselves, either thrust upon us or ones we chose, from colored to Negro to Afro-American to black to African-American. You know, there's the problematic words of Spanish and Portuguese colonialism and their slave trade. So the blacks were called Negroes in both languages, so they were just called blacks. So we use the word Negro. If you say colored people, that smacks of the 40s.
Black power means the saving grace of our United States.
The late 50s, early 60s, civil rights activists on the more radical end were starting to say, we are not colored people, we're not Negroes, we are black. They wanted to go all the way. In that same way, saying, well, not white. So they really planted a really strong flag for the Black Power movement, the Black Panthers, the Black Arts movement, and the song. Jesse Jackson proclaimed one day in the late 80s. We are now going to call ourselves African American. And a lot of people just thought, well, who are they to decide what we're going to call ourselves now? And it felt at first like a step backwards because black really was a big catch-all, but also so powerful.
I don't know how far back, and I don't know what country in Africa I'm from. I'm not an African American. I'm an American.
It really depends on the context. I think that black is just a fantastic, positive word that everybody should feel free to use.
I'm going to help the African Americans for the African American, making our inner cities better for the African American.
By adding the to it and the S at the end, the blacks, it just shows how sort of tone deaf they are. Harks back to kind of an old-fashioned, non-PC look at us as some kind of other to be afraid of.
I have a great relationship with the blacks. I've always had a great relationship with the blacks. Unfortunately.
You see that? So all those things that were said were insults. Literally, insults. And these people, these dumbass heathens, they've been insulting us for many, many, many years. Many decades they've been insulting us. And many centuries they have been insulting us. But let's get into some more of these scriptures. And let's end it off. Let's start off with Jeremiah. Because you dumbass motherfuckers, you better wake up. You ain't no damn coloreds. You ain't no damn Negroes. You ain't no damn Afro-Americans. You ain't no damn blacks. And you damn sure ain't no African American. You are a Hebrew Israelite, and you better start recognizing it. And if you don't, you motherfuckers is 2/3, and if you don't believe who you are, the Most High, He's going to send Yahweh Shai, and He going to kill you. Because if you're denying who you are, you're denying Yahweh. You're denying to return back to Him. Because He ain't said nothing. He ain't told no damn colors, blacks, Afro, whatever, and all of those bullshit they was calling you. He ain't told none of those people to return to Him. He told the Hebrew Israelites to return to Him, His children. But let's get into these scriptures. 17. Jeremiah 17 and verse 4. Straight to the point. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee. What's the heritage that Yahweh gave us? Our land, who we are, our heritage, our culture, all the things that go with a nation of people. But let's continue. Jeremiah 17 and 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from the heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. We pissed our father off. So he said, look, these are the things that's going to happen to y'all. You're going to go into captivity, and you're going to be called everything outside of who you really are. That's those proverbs. That's those bywords. Period. Let's continue. Let's jump to another one. Let's jump to 2nd Esdras. Let's jump to 2nd Esdras. 2nd Esdras. And we're going to go straight to the point. Chapter 2 and verse 7. Matter of fact, I start up at 5. 2nd Esdras 2 and 5, but the point is 7. As for me, O Father, I call upon thee for a witness over the mother of these children, referring to our land, which would not keep my covenant, that thou bring them to confusion, that means shame, and their mother to a spoil, that there may be no offspring of them, referring to that we're not going to be dwelling in our land no more. That's what that's talking about. Verse 7. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. Let their names be put out of the earth, for they have despised my covenant. I ain't going to run my mouth. It speaks for itself. Now let's go. Let's jump to Psalms. Psalms 83. And we're going to read from 2 to 6. Psalms 83, verse 2 and 6. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. That the name of who? That the name of Yasharallah, princes of power, meaning the princes of Yahweh, may be no more in remembrance. So who did this? Who did it? Let's find out. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. And we're going to start at who was the chief motherfuckers that was behind it all. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, of Moab and of Hagarenes and Gabal, Ammon, Amalek, and the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Basically telling you about these so-called Caucasians, Edomites, these so-called these Ishmaelites, which is those Arabs, and who else? And the third in line from their ass is them fucking filthy ass Hamites. So when you were scattered into captivity, what happened? You lost your name. Why? Because he said, let them be scattered among the heathens, and let their name be put out of the earth. So that couldn't happen unless you were scattered among the heathens. So why you keep being called black when that ain't you? African American when that ain't you? Colored and all this other bullshit. Those are insults. But let's go to Baruch. Just a few more and I'm going to end it off. Let's go to Baruch. Baruch, chapter 2. And we're going to go, let's go to 30. Salakia. 2 and 30. But I'm going to read up a little. Let's start at, let me see. Let me see. I'll start at 26. But the point is 30. And the house, which is called by thy name, hast thou laid waste, as it is to be seen this day. And to this very day, our land is desolate. Them heathens ain't our land. They within the places of our land. But where we inhabited, where Jerusalem at, Jerusalem is still laid waste. That ain't Jerusalem where them heathens is at. That's a place within our land, but that's not Yasharonam. Ours is desolate. But let me finish. Let me continue. And the house, which is called by thy name, hast thou laid waste, as it is to be seen this day, for the wickedness of the house of Israel, and the house of Judah. O Lord, our power, thou hast dealt with us after all thy goodness, and according to all that great mercy of thine, as thou spakest by thy servant Moses, in the day when thou didst command him to write the law before the children of Israel, saying, if ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will scatter them. Verse 30 is the point. For I knew that they would not hear me, but as a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. Now let's go into that word, remember, before I read these other two precepts and end it off. Let's go into that word, remember.
Remember.
And what does it say for the word remember? It says what? Have in or be able to bring to one's mind an awareness of someone or something that one has seen, known, or experienced in the past. Recall, recollect, think of, put a name to, place. It says what? Think back to, look back on, hark back to. He said hark back to, meaning to start calling yourself that again. Why? Because we're going to come into the remembrance of who we are. Now let's read these last three and end it off. Let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah. What's going on, Derek? All right, Unc. Isaiah 45 and verse 4. For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel Yasharallah my elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. Let's go to another one, but we go get that surname, what that surname mean. Let's go to Isaiah 43 and verse 1. The next one is 44. Isaiah 43 and verse 1. But now, thus said Yahweh, that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. So who we belong to? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And what's our name? Yasharallah. Not no colored, not no black, not no Negro, and not no damn African American. Let's grab this one. Isaiah 44 and verse 5. Isaiah 44 and verse 5. One shall say, I am Yahweh's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto Yahweh, and surname himself by the name of Israel. Yasharallah. Why? Because that's our name. That's who we are as a nation of people. Now let's go into that surname and find out what that surname means. Find out what surname means. Bear with me.
Surname.
Surname. A hereditary name common to all members of a family, as distinct from a given name. What does it say? Family name. Last name. Let's get this one. Patronymic. What it says? Patronymic. Patronymic. A name derived from the name of a father or ancestor, typically by the addition of a prefix or suffix, e.g., meaning just giving your synonyms last names. So what did the Most High said he named us? Israel, Yasharallah. So you need to acknowledge you are a Hebrew Israelite, period. Ain't nothing else. You ain't no damn colored, black, Negro, Afro-American, African-American. None of those is who you are as a nation of people. Those are not your ethnicity. They are bywords. Period. Matter of fact, let's punch up that byword right quick. Let's find out what that byword is real quick, and then I'm going to end it off. What does it say?
Byword.
Byword. Let's go straight into it. Let's go straight into it. Let me see. Is that what I'm looking for? Let me see. Just bear with me because I gotta find it. Bear with me because I gotta find it. And no, that's not the one I'm looking for. Because this is a byword. Byword. There it is right there. For that byword, what does it mean? I'm going to read them. Slogan, motto, maxim, axiom, dictum, mantra, catchword, word, watchword, formula, cry, battle cry. This is what I'm looking for. Nickname. Now, what does that byword mean? A nickname. A familiar or humorous name given to a person or thing instead of or as well as the real name. So that byword is you being called something else that who you are not. And I'm going to end it off there. Shalom, Yasharala. Shalom.